Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Mobster Players Revenge Tools and Tips. And I am Brutus. This video clip that you're going to see here is going to be about missions. Okay, if you watch the first video clip, I mentioned that we're going to have video clips for all of these tabs. Today, it's missions. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into the missions tab and go ahead and let's see what's going on. Now, when you click the missions tab, you'll notice it'll bring you here to the missions page. There are 4 different locations for missions. You have New York, Chicago, notice they changed, the missions changed, New Orleans, and Las Vegas, which is the Mac Daddy of mission locations. This is where you rack up. I mean, you really rack up. If you know what you're doing, you know how to use Las Vegas, man, you will rack up. You have a really nice account, plus a lot of goodies that come with it. So, let's go ahead and basically explain the missions tab, the missions using the Vegas one, because this is the one that is the most important one, and it covers all the same information as all these other missions and then some. So right now we're in Vegas, and typically in Vegas, when you do missions in Vegas, there's always a required item. We'll talk about that here in just a momento. Now let's go to the top here. Let's explain a little bit about what you see here. Right over here is the name of the mission. In this case, it's Trade the Blue Easter Egg, blah 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 blah. Okay, to the right of that is a percentage that indicates the percentage that you've completed towards the bronze mastery level. Okay, in order to complete a mastery level, this here number or percentage needs to be 100. That means you completed that particular mastery level, and then you can move on to the next one, which is silver. We'll get more into that here in just a moment. Okay, now going back over to the left here, this is telling you the amount of cash that you can get by completing this bronze mastery level. Okay, this is the amount of experience you can get. Okay, and this is the drop. In other words, every time you do this mission, it will drop this particular equipment. In this case, it's a henchman, X number of times. In some missions, it's 100% of the time you'll get a drop, and others it can be 5, it can be 7. It just varies. A lot of them here in Las Vegas, the drop is 100%. That's what makes Las Vegas so cool. All right, now we talked about required items here briefly at the beginning of this clip here. Now, in order to do this mission, you have to have this item for every time you do the mission. Okay, you have to have it. All right, we're going to show you a little bit more about this here as we go forward. Now, you can do the mission from here by just click do it. Okay, and it will do the mission for you. However, strongly advise, particularly if you're new, to go ahead and click the drop item, and it'll open up this doohickey fancy box. And that's what it's really called in Geekland. It's a fancy box for those people that are developers and programmers and designers. Now, there is a ton of information in this fancy box here pertaining to this particular mission, and we're going to go over that real briefly here. Of course, actually, we're going to go over it quickly. Now, over here across the top is the name of the mission again. In order to accomplish this mission, you need to be, I don't know why they got this level here, but it's there. But you can actually we can actually do this mission at level 1. Being a level 1, you can do this mission, which is really good. If you know what you're doing at level 1, you can develop some kick-ass accounts by doing missions in Vegas. I mean, I've seen some mean killer level 10s. You know, for their level, they're a beast. Now, getting into the details here. Now, again, this mission requires the blue Easter egg. Okay, you normally get these here through playing Lotto. When you execute a bounty on someone, the system automatically randomly drops different types of equipment. And in this case here, it was dropping when those were in season. It was dropping the blue Easter eggs. You can also obtain these by purchasing them through the equipments tab under armor. You can buy them for X amount of favor points if you decide that for whatever reasons you want to do this mission. Now, moving along here, obviously we see this is the name of the required item. It is the class that it is. It's a piece of armor, and this attack and defense is absolutely dip. It's nothing. It's just there basically for show. All right. Now, moving along here, right below that, you see here the 100% drop rate. Now, what that means is that every time you do this mission, you'll get a drop of these. You'll get one of these bunnies. Okay? And this particular bunny class is a hench person, or a henchman, or a henchwoman, whatever. The henchman. Down below here is what I call the loadout for that particular item. And in this case, not too shabby. There's some that are much better than this. The attack for this particular item is 300. And the defense for this item is 295. As you get more involved in the game, this information is going to become more and more relevant and pertinent to you, and important to know. Now, right below that, to complete the bronze level, you have to negotiate all of this here. So, to complete the bronze level, you have to do the mission, this particular mission, 80 times. Okay, it's going to cost you 3,600 energy to do it. Right? That's quite a bit of energy. Okay? This is the max experience that you're going to get. Experience is the amount of experience you get that causes you to level up. For example, and may have the figures wrong, but like for example, from level 1 to level 2, you need what, 5 experience. And it's probably right about there. Or for another example, maybe from level 499 to level 500, you may need 1,000,000 experience. So doing missions allows you to accumulate experience. But if you want to, stay at a particular level, you want to be very watchful of experience, because you'll level up pretty fast, and you will learn that either the hard way or the easy way. Now, this mission also drops 5 favor points. It gives you $10 million in cash. All right, and it gives you 17 experience at completion. So throughout the session of the Bronze Mastery, you'll get this total, and then at the very end, you'll get this additional 17 experience on completion. The rest of the mastery levels here, in this case here, we got the silver. Then we have to go, of course, you got to complete bronze before you go silver. You got to complete silver before you go gold, etc., etc. You get it. Now, basically, these by the way, incidentally, in order to scroll down in this fancy box, you can't do it with the cursor inside the fancy box. You got to come onto the outside of either side of this fancy box and then scroll there. That's just the way it is. All right. Now, the silver mastery basically has the same requirements as the bronze, and basically all of the mastery levels are that way, with the exception, there are exceptions with certain missions where you get additional drops or bonuses, what I call. Now, I didn't mention, but when you complete a mastery level, you get X amount of drops. So going back a little bit here, I apologize, back step in a little bit. When you complete the bronze, you'll get 5 of these. Okay? You get 5 bunnies. In the silver mastery, you'll get 10 when you complete the mission. When you complete the mastery, I'm sorry. Now, gold, it changes it flips the script a little bit, just a little bit. This part here is basically still the same as the other two mastery levels with respect to the required items. In this case here, in order to complete the gold mastery, you need to do it 130 times. And this is the amount of energy you need to do to complete the gold mastery. This is how many favor points you win for completing the mastery, the cash, and the experience that you obtain by doing this particular mastery. Now, here is the flip to the script. Right below that, notice you get 1 of these here flamethrowers, and it's a weapon. All right, and this is the attack and defense for that particular weapon. Right below that, it tells you that it's an avatar item. It means that this is a particular piece of equipment that you can put on your avatar, your AV, and it has this amount of boost in attack and this amount of boost in defense. What does that mean? Is that your account has what's called a loadout, meaning the amount of power that it has. So say hypothetically, just for training purposes here, that your loadout for your account is 100, and it isn't going to be 100. It's going to be way more than that. But if you complete this mastery level, you'll get this AV item, and if you use it, okay, then that 24, that 100 loadout that you have times 24% will be your new. So in the case of 100, it'll be 124 loadout. Hopefully I didn't confuse you, because I just confused myself. All right, so that was the gold, and then here comes the platinum mastery level, which a lot of times here in Vegas, it's the best location to do missions. Here's what you get, what I call a bonus. All right, so it has all the same features for completing the mastery level, okay, as the other three, and it also gives you gonna go on the outside here, scroll. Okay, this particular item, the Galaxy Hair Rare, which is armor, and it has this particular attack defense, and it's also an AV item, and it has this attack boost and this defense boost. Okay, again, the AV items, these are things that you can actually wear. You'll learn more about that if you haven't already when we get into the My Mobster tab. Now, this is what I call the bonus down at the bottom. Once you complete each of the masteries, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, you'll get this additional racket here. Now, this racket here is plus 6% to critical hits. Basically, what that means is it gives you a certain percentage on top of the loadout you already have, right? Now, most of the time, you have to use the racket in order to use the percentage or whatever bonus it's giving you. We'll get more into that when we get into, of course, rackets. So all of the missions in Vegas basically have the same format. Doesn't matter which mission you're doing here that has the same components. Okay, we scroll down a little bit. Let's look at something else here. Mama's orders, right? Missions, it's all basically the same format, but in this case here, to do Mama's orders, you have to have these blue roses. All right, and again, you get the blue roses by doing lotto. When they're in season, you don't get them all the time. It's a seasonal thing, and that's when you get them. So you got to be mindful and pay attention. You know what's going on with lotto and what they're dropping in order to get these if you want these. All right. Now it's the same deal. You click on the mission name, and it has the same fancy box with basically the same information. All right, that we just covered. They're just slightly variant, but pretty much the same deal spiel. All right. Those are missions. This way here gives you the Fight Club, which is 5 punch, which I'm one of those. I like having a very hefty punch. My main account, it has a nice little punch. No, it has a big punch. All right. So that is missions. Very simple. All right. Now, the more missions you do, the more missions that you accumulate, and we'll get into that when we get into the My Mobster tab, which is a lot of cool information there. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Mob on. M. Laura. Broder says ciao.